What is up everyone, FPL Tits here and welcome back to another video. We finally had the launch of FPL 2021-2022, so I'm sure you guys like me are tinkering away. So I'm going to walk you through my first draft and why I've picked the players I have. So let's get into it. Welcome guys, as I said, another FPL tips video here. So what we're going to have a look at is my first draft. So I've put together a team of players that I really like the price of, that fits pretty much into the 100 mil budget. I imagine it will probably change come game week 1, but this is where I've sit now that I've had my first look into the new FPL game. If you've got any questions about your draft, drop them in the comments down below, or any comments on mine, players that you consider over the players that I've got, then also let me know. But yeah, let's get straight into my team. So the first goalkeeper we've got is Sanchez of Brighton. Now, Brighton have a really nice run of fixtures to start the season. So there's definitely room for Sanchez in my team at just 4.5. They start the season with Burnley, Watford, Everton and Brentford. Really nice run of fixtures. So yeah, I really like that given that he's pricing at 4.5. I thought he'd be 5 million. There are some other 4.5 options like Gaeta, Dubravka, and there are actually a lot of nice 5 mil options like the Manchester United goalkeepers, but Brighton were really good defensively last season, so Sanchez is my first goalkeeper. Now next to him I have Ben Foster of Watford. Now it's not quite decided who's going to start. It's likely that Foster will not be the starting goalkeeper for Watford. However, I plan on having one goalkeeper every week. I don't like to rotate goalkeepers because it tends to go wrong more often than it goes right. And with Foster being the one that's most likely to get minutes, I don't particularly want any other Watford players, so I won't have the problem that a lot of us had last year with having 3 Aston Villa players, including the backup goalkeeper, and wanting to add another one on top of it. So yeah, for me, Foster is my backup keeper. If he does get minutes occasionally, I might play him if Sanchez has a hard game, but he's likely just to sit on my bench every week while Sanchez starts. Into defence, the first defender we've gone with is Luke Ayling. Now this could be pretty much any 4.5 defender. It could be Connor Cody at Wolves, it could be the crazily underpriced Fofana at Leicester, but I've gone with Luke Ayling because he has a little bit more of attacking threat than some of those others I've mentioned. The opening fixtures for Leeds are a little bit more difficult. So they have Man U on the first day of the season, Everton and Burnley, but he is my 5th defender, so I won't be needing to play him every week. So I'm quite happy with what Leeds can offer defensively, and Ayling can just come into my team when I need him, but sit on my bench. We don't have Dallas, of course, now he's been moved to a midfielder, so I think Ayling is probably the best bet that we've got within the Leeds defence. Next up we have Luca Dean at 5.5 million at Everton. So they have the best run of fixtures to start the season. There will be videos coming out on teams to target due to their fixtures, but Everton are number 1. They start their season with Southampton, Leeds, Brighton, Burnley, Aston Villa and then Norwich, and it doesn't get much more difficult after that as well. So there's a prolonged period of time. We don't quite know who's going to be manager of Everton, but Dean at 5.5 I still think is a really good price. Even if he's playing at left back or if he's playing at left wing back, there's a lot of value to be had there. He got 9 assists last season, so the attacking threat is there on top of clean sheet potential. So given that and how strong the opening fixtures are, Luca Dean is in my team, and I'd be surprised if he leaves come game week 1. Next up we have Luke Shaw. So another team that have a pretty good run to start the season. So Leeds, Southampton, Wolves, Newcastle for Manchester United. We know Shaw is that first choice left back. We know what he can do both with the attacking threat, but also Manchester United have good clean sheet potential. They do tend to control games, not always. We've seen them at pockets over the past couple of years not be quite so good, but at 5.5 I was surprised to see Shaw there. I thought he'd be moved up to 6, a bit like quite a lot of defenders. I think they've been priced maybe 0.5 less than I thought they'd be, but Shaw at 5.5 is definitely one that's in my team. And next up we have Trent. 7.5 million for him again this season, but given the start to the season that Liverpool have with Norwich and Burnley in their first 2, and then Leeds, Crystal Palace, Brentford shortly after that, it's a great run of fixtures. He's got clean sheet potential, especially with Van Dijk likely being back. They'll have that full defence fit again. Trent can then have more licence to go because there is more reliance on those centre-backs to do the defending, so Trent can get up that right-hand side, put those crosses into the box and score some goals. So I think he's in for maybe a bigger season than he did last year, especially if Van Dijk and then Gomez or Konate are playing centre-back next to him. Now, to combine with that, I've gone with Robertson. I've gone for double Liverpool defence, so 7 million for Robertson. He had a good season, he gets very far up the side. So whereas Trent tends to cross from distance, Robertson is very much let's get into the box and cut the ball back. He did that a lot last season, and at times he was a better option than Trent. So 7 million again, we have a nice opening set of fixtures, a really nice run. We know that attacking threat. We know they're likely to keep some clean sheets as well. They've finished the season very well. So I know it's a lot to spend on my defence at the moment with Robertson, Trent, Shaw, Luca Dean and Luke Ayling, but at the moment it would be a 4 at the back system, so I'd be playing probably the 4 on the left and Luke Ayling would be on my bench. So I think it's worth spending the money because I think there's a lot of returns that I could get from these 4 options. Into the midfield, the first one we have is Bruno Fernandes. Now, he's in there at the moment a bit as a placeholder because I didn't know who else to have, because Man U have a good run of opening fixtures, as we mentioned, for sure, but Fernandes hasn't looked great at the Euros so far. He didn't finish the season particularly well, blanking in half of his final 10 matches, not including the game he got rested in. So he's 12 million seems fair given what he did over the whole course of the season, but actually given what he did in the final few weeks, then I'm not quite sure it is. But it could be De Bruyne, it could be Fernandes, it could go on Harry Kane up front as well, who we'll get to in a minute, but Fernandes is in my team at 12 million at the moment. Next up, we add, of course, Mo Salah to continue and complete my Liverpool triple up. I just think their fixtures are so good to start the season that I can't not have a triple up. It could be Jota over one of the Liverpool defenders like Robertson, but Trent and Salah are in there. And given the rotation that Jota has with Firmino, I don't think it's going to be cut and dry again. I think it'll be one playing one week, one playing another, and they'll make substitute appearances. So I like to have nailed players at the start of the season, hence why I've gone with double Liverpool defence. Salah at 12.5, he's a captain option for about 5 of the first 6 weeks. He's a really good player, of course. He's on form, as we saw at the end of last season. He hasn't gone to the Euros, of course, playing for Egypt, but he may be going to the Olympics. Now, we've got to wait and see whether he does go to the Olympics with Egypt. If he doesn't, then he'll have a nice summer off to get fully fit and ready for game week 1. And if he does have that, I think he's a great option, and I don't think there should be many teams without him if that is the case. Next up is Jack Harrison of Leeds. Well, he's currently at Manchester City, but this is under the assumption that he goes back to Leeds, and I feel like there's about a 90-95% chance that this is the case. So at 6 million, the debate was, do I go for Harrison or do I go for Rafinha? And I'm sure a lot of you will have Rafinha in your team, but Harrison at 6 million, it allowed me to strengthen my bench a little bit more. I think between them it will be quite close. I do expect Rafinha to outscore Harrison slightly this season, but I don't think there's going to be that much in it. So at the moment, if Harrison does get his move back to Leeds at 6 million, he's currently in my draft. Next up, we go for a 4.5 defender. So the first one we've got is Romeu at Southampton. He will continue to play at that CDM role, likely alongside James Ward-Prowse. He gets the occasional goal, assist, but more just that 2-pointer. We know he's going to start every week, and he can get a 3-pointer if they keep a clean sheet as well. So Romeu is the first 4.5 option that I've got. And next to him, I actually have got another one at the moment. So my team is set up with 3 big midfielders and then 2 4.5. So Basuma in at 4.5, a bit like Romeu, bit more attacking threat. I'd probably play Basuma before I play Romeu. He does get forward a little bit more playing central midfield for Brighton. But again, it's just that assured start that you get from him. So I've got players on my bench, if someone doesn't play, that I get those 2 or 3 points or the occasional goal off my bench if that's ever needed. Now into the more exciting forward line. The first one we have is Dominic Calvert-Lewin of 8.0 million, got a bit of a price hike at Everton. However, as I said for Dean, their opening fixtures are really nice and I find it difficult to sort of ignore that. It means in my team I won't be sort of worried about transferring him in, transferring him out, or do I need to bench him because he's got a difficult fixture. I know that I'll be happy to play Calvert-Lewin and Luca Dean every single week because of how good their fixtures are. At the start of the season, there's often players who don't start well, players you want to jump on and things like that. So having a player that you know you can just play every week because of their fixtures is a really nice thing to have. You will have headaches elsewhere in your team come game week 2, game week 3, and I feel like Dominic Calvert-Lewin with his fixtures would be just a sort of set and forget option. He started last season really well. I had him for game week 1 and that did me really well, helped me get such a good finish. So Calvert-Lewin at 8.0 is the first forward into my team. Next up, we have Ollie Watkins of Aston Villa. Now, unlike Calvert-Lewin, I feel like Watkins will be a transfer for me early on. So they start the season really nicely with 3 good fixtures of Watford, Newcastle and Brentford in the first 3. However, it gets much more difficult after that. However, if Buendia is there, if Grealish is there, if Watkins is fit, that attack is going to score goals in those opening 3 fixtures, so I don't want to go in without it. I could go into the midfield, for example, and go Buendia or to Grealish if I found, you know, $500,000. At the moment, I've gone Watkins, the sort of forefront of that attack. Buendia and Grealish will probably be trying to create chances for Watkins. He had a good season last year, and I feel like he's only going to get better. 7.5 is a bit of a price hike given his returns last season, but I think it's fair enough. So Watkins partners Calvert-Lewin up front. The final forward in my team is Ivan Toney of Brentford. Now, I tend to have a rule of no newly promoted teams in my team, but at the moment I've got Toney. He had such a good season in the Championship, top goal scorer again at Brentford. So 6.5 million, they finally got promoted. So I think it's a fair price for him. Someone like Pukki in at 6 or the Watford strikers in at 5.5. It's fair that Toney got his 6.5 forward. I may not go with him. I don't love starting the season with new signings and newly promoted teams because they're unproven. I don't know what I'm get to them. I like reliability at the start of the season, which is what I hope I get from the majority of the rest of my team. But it's nice to have that occasional sort of spark in your team, someone a bit different, that differential. So Toney at 6.5 is in my team at the moment to complete my front 3 of Calvert-Lewin, Watkins and Toney. Now, just a little bit more for you. At the moment, I plan on captaining Salah on the opening day. I don't see myself captaining anyone else. So they play Norwich away on the opening day of the season. It won't be moving unless he's injured or he's not ready to play. And in terms of the way my team will set up, at the moment it's a 4-3-3. So Foster in goal will of course sit on my bench, and then Basuma, Luke Ayling and Ollie Romeo will also go on my bench. So it'll be a 4-3-3 with Robertson, Trent, Shaw, Luca Dean, so quite big at the back at the moment, with Fernandes, Salah and Jack Harrison, with sort of 3 mid-price forwards in Calvert-Lewin, Watkins and Ivan Toney up front. So that is my game week 1 team. There are other players that I'm considering. Fofana example at 4.5. Leicester have really nice opening fixtures, but at the moment this is what I've gone with. Let me know your thoughts down below. What would you rate it out of 10? Any questions about your team, do let me know. But the league code to my new league is there for you all to join, P72WY9. There will be lots of prizes to be given out throughout the course of the season, so do make sure you join that. However, the prizes and the league is for subscribers only, so make sure you subscribe to the channel and like the video if you have enjoyed. But plenty more coming, so yeah, do subscribe, turn on notifications. There'll be videos every couple of days between now and the start of the season, and then throughout the course of it. So good luck making your first drafts. Don't get too het up about it, but I will see you all very soon.